As I mentioned earlier, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas testified before Congress yesterday and acknowledged that he expects illegal immigration to surge in the coming months.
We have effectively managed an unprecedented number of non-citizens seeking to enter the United States and interdicted more drugs and disrupted more smuggling operations than ever before.
Yet in less than a month, the Biden administration plans to revoke Title 42, the Trump-era provisions which allowed the U.S. to immediately expel illegal immigrants due to the pandemic. And recently, the Federation for American Immigration Reform released a report showing the illegal immigration population has skyrocketed by at least 1 million since President Biden took office, and that illegal immigration has an annual taxpayer cost of $143.1 billion. Joining us now to talk about this disaster at our southern border and solutions for resolving it is Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick of Texas. Actually, we're trying to connect with him right now. He is on his way to the airport to fly back to Austin. But in the meantime, I want to go to the issue that he shared with pastors today at our pastors conference, and that is the Texas abortion law, which earlier this week on Tuesday, a federal court allowed to remain in effect despite challenges by pro-abortion groups. This law now becomes the strongest pro-life law in the nation. And a part of its success is a novel approach to allowing civil enforcement as opposed to government criminal enforcement. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later as well with the mastermind behind this law. All right, I think we're still trying to connect with the Lieutenant Governor. So, like they say, when you're trying to do live programming, you never do it with children, animals, or politicians. We're going to actually, Lieutenant Governor Patrick's a great guy, busy schedule. But I want to shift gears for just a moment. I want to go to kind of what we were talking about earlier about the censorship that's taking place. And now we have the Department of Homeland Security engaging in what we would call the Ministry of Truth. I'm going to bring in Matt Carpenter, FRC's Action Director, to talk about some ongoing issues with censorship that are taking place. A complaint was filed by Republican members to the FEC over alleged Google censorship of their fundraising emails. So here to talk about this is FRC Action Director Matt Carpenter. Matt, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me on, Tony.
All right, tell us more about this complaint that has been filed with the FEC by the GOP.
Right, well, this complaint is only about 24 hours old. The RNC, which is the National Committee of the Republican Party, as well as the NRSC, which is the campaign arm of the Republicans in the Senate, and the NRCC, which is the campaign arm of the Republicans in the House, filed a joint, complaint with the Federal Elections Commission alleging that Google, their email platform Gmail, which I'm guessing many of our viewers use regularly themselves, censored as many as 2/3 of the Republican candidates' fundraising emails from 2019 until 2020. Tony, this is pretty alarming. We're talking about hundreds of thousands potentially of emails from Republican candidates to potential donors that are just landing in spam folders that are being filtered out. And now this complaint stemmed from actually a report done by North Carolina State University, which did the legwork here of digging this up. And they compared the numbers I just shared, 2/3 of Republican candidates' emails landing in spam folders, to what was happening with Democrat candidates, and found that virtually none of the Democrat candidates' fundraising emails landed in spam folders. So this complaint with the FEC is raising this issue of a potential illegal activities, in corporate in-kind donations to the Biden campaign and Democrats, and it's a very serious one that we should be paying attention to.
Matt, this different platform, but it kind of echoes the same criticisms that Elon Musk had of Twitter. I mean, this is what we're seeing in the social media world.
You're right, Tony. It seems like every day there's some new iteration of this culture war, this woke big tech we kind of peel back the curtain a little bit more every day. And there's certainly something that seems to be going on with Twitter. We're seeing reports of tens of thousands of followers on some accounts being added and tens of thousands of followers on some accounts being subtracted. There's some funny business going on for sure. And hopefully this complaint brings us one step closer to putting Silicon Valley and big tech, some of these large, frankly, $1.5 trillion companies in their place, and we can shine a spotlight on them. And I know this will be a midterm issue. I know this is something conservatives and Christians care deeply about, because I think they've been feeling some of this as well in their personal lives.
I want to very quickly shift gears to another breaking news story, and that is in the state of New York. There was a challenge to their new congressional districts. That was thrown out. Democrats were challenging it. It was thrown out. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty surprising ruling. So back in 2014, New York voters approved a ban on gerrymandering. They also approved an independent redistricting commission that was charged with drawing new districts at the state legislative level and the congressional level. And so this is a blue state through and through, blue governor, blue legislature, blue governor appointing ostensibly liberal justices, which just ruled earlier this week, I think it was yesterday, 4-3, that the state legislative maps as well as the congressional maps were partisan, that they were gerrymandered, that they did not comport with these constitutional requirements, and so they've got to go back to the drawing board. And it's pretty alarming when you look at how they drew the map originally. The state legislature there actually ended up taking over for the redistricting commission because the redistricting commission couldn't do it nonpartisanly. So the state legislature took that power back, and they actually aggressively went after GOP districts. And so if you're a Republican, this is welcome news that you might get more of a fair shake come midterms in New York.
Well, Democrats will do whatever they can to try to hold on to some of those seats. Not good news for them. Matt Carpenter, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Tony.